Hi there. So I wanted to go over in a little video series how I would go about mixing massive drums. And I've got some drums that I've already mixed here in a track. And I just wanted to go over a few things. So let's have a look at the mixed version of the drums here. So obviously sounding great. Now if we just hear how that sounds basically as the raw recordings, and I'm going to take off some samples that I have here as well. Let's have a listen. So as you can hear, pretty good, but obviously not how we'd like it to sound, not the way that it's expected to sound on a big rock record. So the first thing that I look for is a strong kick and snare. So let me kind of zero in here on the kick, and just we'll do the kick and the snare at the same time here. So the things that I'm looking for in a strong kick and snare, if we go back to how it was sounding before, I guess the main things is that I don't want a lot of kind of overtones on the kick and the snare that kind of undermine the punch that it gives. So with the kick, and just forgive the fab filter, looks a bit weird here, but you can see I've carved out a lot of the mids and a lot of kind of low as well. I took out, it looks like around 110, and then also quite a lot of the mids, all the way up to 1K and kind of, you know, going up to 2K there as well. And really just emphasize the punch of the kind of 60, 70 hertz range. That kind of really, like, the difference between this and this, to me, is huge, and that really makes a difference. Then I kind of do a little bit of EQ with and a gate as well, it looks like, with a channel strip here. A transient designer, I find these really important. Again, when we're thinking about a strong kick and snare, I'm really thinking about, I don't want it to be too kind of like, I need it to be to the point. I need it to be punchy. I need it to really hit when it's supposed to hit and not really be there when it's not supposed to be there. Not to an extreme extent, but as you can hear, this just kind of keeps it slightly more in line. It's just there when it needs to be there. And then a pull take just for that low end. And then some parallel here. And then a snare. Let's have a look at the snare. So this is the snare on its own. We have a snare sample in here. I actually forgot to mention about the kick, so let me just quickly go back to the kick here. So the kick on its own sounded like this, with no samples. And so one of the first things that I do when thinking about a strong kick and snare is samples, right? What samples can I bring in that really reinforce the current kick sound, and snare sound as well, or that can kind of take it to where it needs to be without much processing, right? So that's what I do before really processing, is I add, and you can hear that went from just a little bit hollow and a little bit empty to really quite strong already before we've even EQ'd. And you can feel that difference thanks to the samples there. Right, if we go to the snare, so this is the snare without the sample. Let's have a listen to the sample on its own here. So this is the snare before the processing. We've got a gate here. A little bit of EQ here to reinforce the fundamental, take out some of the nasty frequencies I can hear. But yeah, already like sounding kind of weak, and so we just beef it out with this. Just get some of that snap on the top from this channel strip here. Compressor, the distressor really helps. For me, it's one of my favorite compressors. And yeah, just really letting the transient through, and yeah, not being too wild with a fast release, like letting it be quite natural in its release. Let me show you, if I bring this release down here, it just sounds a little bit comical, like a gunshot, and I think I brought this kind of to medium just to kind of make it a little bit more natural feeling. Now again, we've got transient designer just for more attack, some more EQ, and a saturator here, the oven. And then some parallel. And so that's what I would say the first thing: strong kick and snare.